We're on. So thank you guys for being here this evening. This is a call that I wanted to do coming out of Dallas. Hey, Deb, glad you can make it. Coming out of Dallas a few weeks ago following the Training Camp Live, which was the men's event. It was the second time they had done it. And there was a lot of good insight and knowledge and valuable nuggets that I had written down from that event that I really was looking forward to sharing with the team. And I'm going to do that tonight. And like I said just a few minutes ago, if you're just joining us, make sure you have something to write with, because as I go through tonight, guys, there's so much valuable stuff that came out of there. It was almost overwhelming, and I'm not going to be able to really explain everything and get to everything. So I'm going to try to get to what I felt to be the most pertinent points and thoughts that a lot of these leaders shared for you to take into consideration as you move forward with your coach business. And just a quick introduction. If I haven't met you before, I know we might have some newer coaches on the call. My name's Don Murphy, and I started Team Euphoria just over 4 years ago now, and it's really grown to become this organization. It's wonderful. And the thing that I've loved most about being a coach is being able to educate and teach others how to do this business, given the background that I have as a fitness professional and the ability to talk to people about achieving their health and fitness goals. And one of the things that I think happens for a lot of coaches in this business is they tend to, and this is why a lot of coaches do not succeed, they really get hung up on trying to attract people to the products that we represent, which are wonderful. I mean, yes, you have to believe in the products, and you have to know what the products do for you, both inside and out. You really have to be a product of the product and have a heartfelt belief in how good they are for people. But attracting people to the products and trying to sell the benefits of the products is not what will draw people to you. And that was the biggest takeaway. They call it the overriding takeaway from Dallas. It was really about how do you attract people to you based on who you are, you know, the people that you resonate with, your story, your history of personal challenges, and what has led you to the place that you are now. You know, people will connect with you based on certain things about what you're currently doing now and in your past that maybe will resonate with them. And that's all about you putting yourself out there. And I'll talk more about that. But before I get to all this wonderful information that I hope is going to help you guys, this is what I'm going to try to do. Over the course of about 30 minutes, I will convey what I felt to be the most important stuff. And then I'd like to open it up to just open dialogue. And we have other diamond coaches and star diamond coaches who are here that maybe can add even more insight as to what's been working for them, or share where you have crashed and burned and you're just struggling with the business. You know, maybe you've gotten to a certain point and you're like, I just can't seem to get past beyond this point that I'm at. And share that, be open, and put it on the table, because this is meant to be that open forum where we can talk about our challenges and talk about the things that are working for us. So we'll do that during the second half. The first half, let me just kind of share with you the real poignant stuff that I took away from Dallas. You know, and I'm doing this also in the midst of, I had put up that post the other day and the video just kind of sharing personally how I've been feeling lately. And it's true. You know, this has been a tough week. Been a tough few weeks for me, with a number of different things, work related and world related. You know, like the news struck me hard, and I think it probably struck a lot of you hard too. I mean, it sucks, and it just causes you to stop, take a time out, and look at you just almost just regroup and look at your life and go, you know, what am I doing? Like, what's really, really important in life, and is what I'm doing really that important? You know, it really hit me hard. And you know, I look at Cole and I look at my family, and these tragedies that can happen to any one of us at any given time. So I never want to look back with regret to think, yeah, you know, I could have been doing this and I wasn't. And so when I look at being a Beachbody coach, I swear to you that what we do for people, guys, is it is beyond drinking a shake. Like, and that's what you really got to understand about this business. This business is not about selling a box of shakes to somebody and hoping they go on home direct. Like, that is not what being a coach is. I so believe in the power of quality exercise and good nutrition and what it does for people in body, mind, and spirit. Like, it really does. And when you have health of body, health of mind, health of spirit, you are a better, happier person in everything that you do. Every aspect of your life improves, from your relationships to your work performance to the energy that you put out to people, to your outlook on life, to your ability to deal with stresses that come along in life, to the fact that maybe you're even overweight and your body doesn't look the way it does. But if you are on a path where you are doing the right things every day to improve that, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. And that energy will resonate with the people around you. So when you can bring that type of solution to people, or that type of answer to people who are struggling in their life because of those things, that's what this nutrition and these exercise programs will do for you. And I know it might sound, odd in a way if you're not that close to the programs or products, but I telling you right now, if you're a new coach and you have not done an exercise program from Beachbody and followed the nutrition exactly as it's the way it's laid out for you, start to finish, if you have not done that yet, you owe it to yourself to do it. And literally almost forget about all else. Like, focus on yourself and what it does for you, mentally, physically, spiritually, because you will become a better person, you'll become a better coach, and you'll become a bigger believer in what you're doing for people. That goes a lot more than, hey, these shakes are great and you can get a box for $129.95. And like, this business is so much more than that. So just know that moving forward, we are doing a world of good for people. And I couldn't be more thrilled than being a Beachbody coach and what I can offer somebody. Now, the reality, as I said, is that 1 out of 10 coaches only really succeed in the business that set out to succeed. That's, unfortunately, those are the odds, because a lot of the new coaches, and it's not because only 1 out of 10 people have the ability to do the business. The reality is everybody has the ability to do the business. It's just that they never get themselves in the right mindset and engage in the right daily behaviors to do the business successfully. So the right mindset for you moving forward, and again, I'm just kind of sharing what has resonated with me coming out of Dallas. The right mindset for you moving forward should be, how am I going to attract people to you? This is you speaking. How am I going to attract people to me based on me and who I am and my story and my personal struggles and challenges and the things that I've overcome in my life that maybe can inspire and help others? Not, how can I really learn everything about Shakeology so that I can share how beneficial it is for people? That's good to do, and that's a skill set you want to have, but that's not what's going to attract people to you. So just know that. It's all about, how do you attract people to you? Now, Bo Eason spoke, and you're going to get a chance to hear Bo. Wait, Bo's at Summit this year, correct? Is Bo at Summit this year? Anybody shake their head? Does anybody know that? Yeah. No. You're saying no, Shannon. Bonnie's saying yes. Jill, do you know? I'm sorry that I don't know the answer to this. I thought Bo was. I know Gary V is. Gary Vaynerchuk is definitely at Summit. Maybe Bo's not. But anyway, Bo is a professional at telling your story. Like, this guy takes the stage and literally just engages you to the point where no matter what he says when he's done, you're going to buy it from him, because he shares his story in such a way that he connects with you. He connects with you inside and he pulls you in. And that's a talent. That's a skill. And so what he does is he offers training on how to bring your story to life. It's actually a workshop you can attend out in California. Tammy and I are thinking about attending it. But when we talk about your story, we're talking about your personal story. And I'm talking about the more personal it becomes and the more you bring out the stuff that maybe you're not too proud of, or maybe it's difficult to talk about. That's when you become real for people. And that's where other people who are perhaps in similar shoes will relate to you. So when you talk about telling your story, there's 4 parts, and a number of different coach leaders, Bo Eason talked about it, Patrick Reelman talked about it, Josh Spencer talked about it. And in a nutshell, there's 4 parts to your story. The first part is your background. What is your background? Who are you? And that's just kind of some surface stuff. It doesn't get really deep. And then you get into what you didn't like about your situation, whatever your situation may have been. Could be the way you looked, could be the way you felt, could be a life struggle that you've dealt with, could be a disease that you've overcome. It could be relationship issues that you've had to deal with. I mean, anything that is, call it dark and deep and personal to you, the situation that you were in is the thing that you didn't like. And you knew you were in a bad place. And it was a place that you needed to overcome. Once you can get through your background and what you didn't like about your situation, then you roll into the solution that helped you solve your problem. And this is where you start to roll into, you discovered exercise, the power of exercise and nutrition. You discovered a program that you followed for 30 days, and it just kind of took you out of this dark place and helped you overcome X, whatever X was. So you're sharing your background, you're sharing this horrible place that you were in, and it could be 10, 15, 20 years ago that you go back into your past. It doesn't have to be something that happened in the past year. And how you have found this course, this solution, this course, whatever it is that you're doing, that has helped you get to a better place and find a happier, more fulfilling life. And then in the end, it's what your 4th part of your story is. Why are you excited for the future? What is it that has you excited for the future of your life and everything about your life? And again, it's hard. Like, I could spend an hour just talking about what I just said, but today is meant to be more of this mind dump of these points that were made, so that some of these will resonate with you as you move forward. And then, we can go into some discussion around this. So I'm just looking at the clock because I want to make sure I stay on time to allow for open talk. It's 8:17. So yeah, I'm going to go to like 8:40. All right, so I have my notes here, so bear with me as I go. Another, big points that were brought up: be giving and be generous, and expect nothing in return. As a coach, be willing to offer free help and free support and free accountability and free motivation, and share whatever knowledge you may have, and expect nothing in return. That's the whole key in this thing. And just a quick point on that, like, I've taken that to heart with this Fit Club that Tammy and I are running at Cole's Child Care Center. We're running this Fit Club, and we said, you know what? Let's attract people by giving back. So whatever retail commission we're earning from challenge pack sales or initial program sales, any commission that we're earning from that, we're giving back to Building Blocks. We've created a playground fund, and we're dumping it back to them. We said, we don't care about the retail commission. Let's just help people. Let's raise money for the playground fund, and only good will become of that. And we know that. You get people healthy and fit, they get drawn into the programs and products, they want to learn more about the business, your organization grows. So, just think about those lines. It's not about I'm not saying don't make money in the business, but just think bigger picture and how you can possibly give back and give free help in a way that people are going to respect and realize that you're being generous with who you are as a coach. And they will want to work with you. They will want to bring you referrals. Don't try to become other coaches. And I think too often that happens. We get sucked into social media, and it is really great that we have the ability to learn from top coaches and see how they've built their businesses and learn from other leaders. But you really want to take all of that knowledge and education that you acquire from other leaders with a grain of salt and ask yourself, is that really me? Does that apply to me? is that the best way for me to approach my business given my personal situation and who I am? So it's good to just take in what other coaches are doing, but then identify what is it that's going to create your brand? What is it about you specifically that's unique or different? And maybe there are other coaches out there that are similar, the same as you, that you go, I'm going to run with the way they're doing it because you are the same type of person. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't try to become somebody that you're not. And that point was really driven home. Vito Lafata, he spoke, very, very inspiring. And I'll just put it out there. Everybody that spoke was very inspiring. He talked about the importance of testimonials and how too often we don't leverage the testimonials that we get from our customers. Even if you have one customer, maybe you're a brand new coach and you get one customer who loses 10 pounds and is very thankful to you for the fact that they've lost 10 pounds and they have better energy and they've achieved the goal that they set out to achieve. You should reach out to that person and say, would you mind sharing a testimonial with me? Would you mind giving me a testimonial? Or better yet, so do that, right? You ask for a testimonial and you ask for their permission to share that testimonial. Would you mind if I shared your testimonial with other people who could potentially benefit from what you've achieved? Do more of that, guys. Like, create a folder of testimonials that you put out there. And here's the other thing that you want to do more of. When you have a customer if you have a customer or a challenge group participant who has achieved great success and they share that with you and they've shared their stats and how great they feel, you should go to their personal Facebook page as their coach and say, I am so proud of Lisa. Congratulations, Lisa. I am so proud of you for losing 15 pounds and reducing your cravings at night through the support group. You should be proud of yourself. You're an inspiration to others. Like, tag them and put that on their timeline so that their friends see, like, holy crap, Lisa lost 15 pounds and she was part of this support group. Now all of a sudden her friends are going, wow, Lisa, who's that? You have a coach? Like, who's that person that's congratulating you? Who's the coach? So do that, guys. Like, every single person of yours that's been in a challenge group or every customer you have that's achieved any type of success, you should be going back to their timeline and tagging them and congratulating them on their success. It's going to make them feel better, and it's going to give their friends an opportunity to see what they've achieved. And that can only lead to good things. Let me see. For those of you so now I'm speaking to the coaches who have, call it a downline, or coaches who have a team building, and you've got other coaches under you who are actively building. Now is the time for you to be identifying your future leaders and creating what's called your inner circle. And that is something that Bob Lucido spoke about, and something that he's always done to build the type of organization he has in it's been about 6, almost 7 years. But Bob has 40,000 coaches in his downline now. And when I met Bob, like, Bob was the guy that recruited me. Jill personally sponsored me. Bob was the guy that I dealt with quite a bit and kind of learned and saw what he was doing. But to hear where his mindset was the entire time and what became of that was really extraordinary. He always was looking out for who are my key players. And these are the people that I need to draw into my inner circle. These are the people that I need to spend my time with and create kind of like the Knights of the Round Table, where you come together, as much as possible, face to face. Sometimes geographic boundaries prevent that, but even if it's, a retreat once or twice a year, whatever you got to do to come together and spend time with each other to really form your team and lead your team to bigger things in the future. Brainstorming new initiatives and how you're going to, create joint challenge groups. And the world is your oyster when you come together with people that are driven by this business. And what you want to do is identify who are those people in your downline now, personally sponsored or not. Like, you look and see, who do I have in my downline that's a real player? And you take it upon yourself to say, hey, I'm putting together this meeting, and I'm inviting you because I'm really thrilled with what you're doing in the business, and I think you bring great ideas and thoughts to how to build, and this is an opportunity to bring the chiefs together. I'd like for you to be part of this group. So go there and identify and bring together your inner circle now. I'm just browsing the notes. Okay, Mark Briggs. Mark Briggs, his big thing, and Mike Ryan talked about this, and I've even talked about this in some of my coach trainings, is you want to make sure that when you are forming relationships with people, like everybody you come into contact with, that you communicate with, just avoid talking about Beachbody or the products and the programs. Like, don't go there until you have really asked a ton of questions of the person you're dealing with, getting to know them. What are the things they'd like to change about their life, physically, financially, career-wise? I mean, you offer basically two things. You offer the opportunity to help people achieve health and fitness. You also offer an opportunity for people to get involved in a business where they can achieve their financial goals if they're not currently doing that. So you always want to keep that mindset of the person you're talking with and what are the things that they're struggling with. Asking the questions, finding connective tissue that you can relate with, and as they share information with you, it becomes, you know what, I totally hear what you're saying. I was in the same place, and what I found was that by getting involved with XYZ, it enabled me to do this. So you're just sharing the things that you're connecting with about that person that you can relate with and that they're going to relate with about you, and how you've overcome the challenges and the things that they might be sharing with you about. So you have to ask a lot of questions. You also, this came from Rob Pearson. If you could create your ideal customer avatar, who would that person be? Like, who is your perfect customer? Is it the guy who's, been working out for a while, but he's at a plateau and now he wants to just go to the next level and get completely ripped? He's the kind of guy you want to get going with P90X or Insanity Max 30, or is it the out of shape mom who is too busy with her kids to exercise, doesn't have time to eat right, would give anything to get back to the way she looked before she was pregnant? You know what I mean? Like, is that your perfect customer? And I think what happens too often is, as coaches, you try to throw the net out over everybody, and not everybody is going to relate to you. And so this came from Rob Pearson. Rob Pearson is a guy who has lost over 100 pounds. So that's his niche. And so when you look at Rob Pearson's customer base and the people that he's helped through his challenge groups, he's helped like 6 or 7 people lose over 100 pounds. Because that's who he connects with. And that's who he targets with the social media marketing that he puts out to the world. So when you look at who you are in your situation, who are the people that are going to relate to you? Who's your perfect customer? For me, it's primarily been fitness professionals. And I got away from that for a while, and I'm starting to go back to it. It's really helping fit pros, for me, understand how they can better their careers and their livelihoods through something like Beachbody coaching. That's how I started to build my business. And I recruited a lot of coaches. And then I went down the path of, let me start helping people as customers, because I got these great results with Hammer and Chisel and so on and so forth. And I try to do both now. That's where I'm at with my business. So, that's when I look at my perfect avatar, my avatar customer, I'm looking at fitness professionals trying to better their careers. I'm also looking at people who are relatively fit that want to go to the next level. That's who I will resonate with. You kind of want to do the same when you put yourself out there to the world to share what you have to share. Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, and for those of you going to Summit, this guy will make your head spin. He is as raw as it gets. And I don't know if you saw the video that I shared. You know, it was a bit vulgar and there's a bit of profanity. And granted, he was speaking to a men's only group, but I think he's going to be a bit raw even at Summit. He's hard to kind of keep in check no matter who he's speaking to. But you got to respect him for it. It's just who he is. He doesn't care. But that's how he's built his success. But the points he was making, first of all, he made it very clear that he said to the group, at least a third of you sitting in this room right now shouldn't even be here because you're never going to succeed. You know, it's like, okay, gut check time. This guy's telling me to leave the room if, you know, I don't have the right skill set. So when he talked about, well, what is a skill set? He says, you have to be that person that does not give a shit about what people think. And you have to eliminate the negative energy in your life. You have to get rid of any naysayers. And you have to be wholeheartedly passionate and a believer in these products. And if you're teetering in any of that, you should leave the business because there is no in between. Granted, you can be that coach who will get an occasional customer, get some retail commission, and that's really cool. That's great. You can, you know, you get the discount, you can use the products yourself. Awesome. But if you want to build this business, you've got to believe in your heart in how good these programs and products are and put yourself out to the world without hesitation. Utilizing social media, you go for it. And he talked about the fact that so many people are not utilizing Facebook ads the way they should be. And it is the most, let's see, how did he write it? This is the area, Facebook and Snapchat. He spoke big time about Snapchat, and I know there's a perception right now, well, that's kind of the younger people using Snapchat. He believes, and again, it's just his belief, that Snapchat will be as big as Facebook someday. So he said, you get on that bandwagon now because that's where the attention is. Facebook and Snapchat is where the attention is, and the services to use them are underpriced. So you have an underpriced marketing opportunity where there's a boatload of attention happening for you to put yourself out there. And if you are not doing those types of things, if you're not learning how to run sponsored ads on Facebook and boost yourself on social media, and you're not willing to invest in those things, you are not acting as an entrepreneur. You know, you ever notice how you're on Facebook and these ads pop up and you're like, how did that know I would be interested in that? Facebook knows everything about you. And so when you create ads and you boost on social media, you have the opportunity to leverage what Facebook knows. You're paying for it, but the cost of what you're paying is nominal versus the amount of reach you can achieve. I'll share an example with you. Nicole Jones, right? Nicole Jones, this is all she does now to build her business. 21-day fix, period. 21-day fix challenge packs is all she does. And she runs an ad on Facebook that she spends $60 a day on. That's $1,800 a month that she's spending. But if you ever look at that ad, it will blow your mind how many times the video has been viewed and how many people comment, I'm interested, I'm interested, I'm interested. She just sends out the information, invites them, she forms them, she has conversations with them, she establishes rapport, puts them into her lead pipeline, and they continually flush out at a rate that she achieves Success Club 15 to 30 every month. And now she earns, you know, she's probably earning $11,000 to $15,000 a week. You know, so think about your business. Are you investing in it? You know, we did that with Tammy when she said, okay, you know, we're going to tell her story with her hypothyroid and autoimmunity and things that we dealt with. You know, she started to boost that and put that out there, and she'll run ads $20 to $30 a day for her clean eating groups, and she'll typically get 40 to 50 people responding, I want in. And these are just random people that she's never met before, but that gives her the opportunity to put them into a free support group where she's giving free knowledge and information and accountability. And every time she does these groups, it gets better and better. And so what happens is she's establishing those relationships. They respect her. She's never asked for anything in return. But when she says, hey, guys, I have another group that I'd love to invite you to that's going to incorporate 30 minutes of exercise a day. This is how it works. They're willing to listen to her now because she has established her relationship. So you got to put yourself out there, guys, and don't think that putting a post about yourself on your own Facebook page is enough to build this business. If you want to put that's going to get your immediate circle. If you want to get out there and have a continual feed of people that you don't know, you need to brand yourself and offer something for free that's valuable through social media and the support you can provide as a coach. Okay. Here's something else from Mark Canella. I thought this was pretty profound. How many times have you gotten frustrated? And I know, like Bonnie and Shannon and Jill, perhaps you, Lisa. I mean, there's several of you here who are very consistent at hitting Success Club and having a constant feeder system of customers that all of a sudden decide to buy a challenge pack. And the majority of those people that buy from you, it's not the first time that you've had contact with them. And I know that. You guys have systemized yourself in a way that you're continually following up. So you have this management information system, which whatever it is you're using, by the way, I'll just mention Teamzy was raved about down there. If you're not using Teamzy, I actually finally got myself on it. I'm uploading my contacts now, and I was like, wow, this thing is phenomenal. It's so effective that my understanding is that Beachbody Corporate might be looking to buy the program from the guy. Like, this guy that created it's a coach, so he understands the needs of coaches, and he's just created a brilliant system for managing and tracking your contacts and prospects as they come into your life. The point I want to make, though, is that whatever system you may be using, the follow-up process is critical. So when somebody says, it's just not for me, I'm not interested, they're not saying no forever. It's just not the right time. And that consistent follow-up process, based on how hot they may or may not be, like it's setting a timeline based on this person really is at a bad place in their life right now. I'm not even going to follow up with them for like another 2 months. Or I might be like, you know what? This is just not a good month for me. But do you have something going on next month? Hell yeah, I'll let you know for sure. You got to make sure you follow up. And too many coaches let things fall through the cracks. What Mark Canella shared was 80% of challenge pack sales, 80% of challenge pack sales are sold after the 5th follow-up. So if you're giving up on your prospects or thinking nobody's buying anything from me, you're giving up too soon. You have to consistently follow up in a way that people know you're serious about your business. It's like, man, this guy keeps following up with me and keeps sharing these testimonials of the people that he's helped, and he's obviously he's good at what he does, so I'm going to buy. Like, the time is right for me now. You got to stay the course, guys, especially when you're starting out. This business, this was a few coaches talking about this, it's a 5-year plan if you go all in. And I mean all in. 5-year plan if you go all in and do the necessary work. So the question to ask yourself is, would you like to establish financial freedom and time freedom in 5 years? We're talking about the ability to work whenever you want from home, establish your own hours, forget about the job you might have right now, leave it if you want, spend more time with your family, take vacations and trips whenever you want. There's a 5-year plan here that you can do that, but you have to go all in. Again, if you're teetering and you're like, well, no, I love my job and I don't necessarily want to make 6 figures as a coach, I just want to do this on the side, awesome, that's your goal, and that can be achieved. But if you want this to become like, holy crap, I'm making 6 figures annually and I can have time freedom and financial freedom, the 5-year plan is where you want to put your mindset. But you got to do the right things. And, unfortunately, like, I can't teach you to become a successful coach in this call. But what I can share with you is beyond what I'm sharing with you right now, like the game plan for new coaches, that onboarding process is critical. Like it's understanding, what do I do next? And the first thing that you have to do with your new coaches, you got to plug them into a Coach Basics group. And, you know, I run Coach Basics Push to Emerald as consistently as I can. The next one I'm doing starts Monday, June 27th. And, you know, and I do it as consistently as I can. But you yourself can be running a Coach Basics group. Like, don't always rely on your upline to do it for you. If you're a new coach, rely on your upline. But you yourself should be going through Coach Basics enough that you say, I can run this. Like, you can deliver the content of Coach Basics. It's actually a template that Beachbody provides. Now, what I've done over the course of time is I've taken that template and I've modified it and tweaked it and dialed it down and honed in on what I feel to be the most important stuff based on my experience. And that's not an overnight process. But the successful coaches who become leaders are the ones that jump in and start leading. You know, you yourself put yourself out there, throw yourself in the fire and say, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna lead. And if it's not that successful, who cares? You just go ahead and do it again. You get better the next time. But the more you yourself can personally involve yourself in the education groups that are out there and see how the leaders are delivering the content, just copy it. There's nothing wrong with copying what other leaders are doing. And then as you evolve, you bring your personality to it and you get better at it. But so going back to this game plan, new coaches, you onboard them by getting them in a Coach Basics group. Get them to the rank of Emerald. I can't stress it enough. Like, getting somebody to the rank of Emerald quickly makes them feel good. It gives them a rank advancement. It opens up Team Cycle bonus, no matter how small it might be. You get that first little check and you're like, whoa, okay, it works. You open up the customer lead program to them. They start to see and understand the business a bit better. Once they're at the rank of Emerald, I cannot say enough good things about Diamond Dash. Like, the Diamond Dash groups that are continually run by this group of coach leaders is evolving and getting better because there's just more valuable content that's being delivered from different leaders to learn from. And again, it goes back to that point I said earlier, that you learn from different leaders, but don't try to become them. You identify how different leaders are building their business and then choose the stuff that relates to you. Does that make sense? You know, the most important stuff that is going to personally relate to you versus, God, that's really cool how they do that, and I wish I could do that. I'm going to try to do that, but it's not really me. Like, no, don't go there. Just learn from people that have built great businesses and then pull in what you feel is going to work for you. Okay. What about, I thought this was brilliant. Trey Bearer, who by now has become a household name in the network. Why? Because the guy's brilliant on social media. That's his strength. Trey Bearer is brilliant at creating videos. So he spoke at this event and, you know, he was asked, like, how did you grow so successful? How did you grow so quickly? And his answer was, I kick ass at video editing. That's how he grew his business. And he shared something that he does that I thought was brilliant. He says to every one of his challenge group participants, when they come into the groups, send me your before photos. You got to send me some type of before photo along with a brief video testimonial of why you're joining the group. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? He has his participants send him the pictures and that short video clip of why they're doing the group before the group starts. He tucks them away. The group ends. He says, send me your after photos. Send me how you're feeling now and what this group has done for you. Just share it with me in a brief video testimonial. He then takes that and he produces a little story of his participant for them. He gives back the video like it was produced by an ad agency because he has that skill set. Gives it back to them and says, here you go. And the participants are like, oh my God, I can't believe you did this for me. And they put it on their page. And what do you think happens? Their page starts to get inundated with their friends going, wow, that's awesome. How can I be part of this? And then Trey has his discussions with, you should become a coach. You're inspiring, you're motivating, and I can teach you how to do what I just did. So that's a guy who identified his specific skills and applied them to his business and has run rampant with it. Just another point of leverage your strengths and who you are and get creative in building your business. Josh Spencer, why are challenge groups so important? And I think most of you guys know this, but if you're not and you're a relatively new coach, your challenge groups are that's your breeding ground. It's your breeding ground to grow your organization, because when you consistently run challenge groups, you are identifying the people who are active on social media, who love sharing their workout videos and posting selfies and sharing recipes, and you just naturally, organically identify who your players are. And those are the people, and this is what Josh does, he reaches out to those people and expresses to them how impressed he is with their ability to naturally motivate and inspire the others. And as a result, would like them to join his team. I think you'd be a great fit for my team, and I'd love for you to consider it. And then from there, he gets on the phone with them, and he actually does it in almost like an interview format to make it seem like it's a privilege to be joining his team, because he only does this with certain people. That's the perception he gives, but it's also the reality. He's inviting those that he sees as those inspiring catalysts in the groups. And they don't even know it, and that's the beauty of it. And this is why, guys, running your challenge groups, you get people healthy, fit results. They feel better about themselves. They love the products. And great, you get discount buyers. But the builders are the ones that, have that interview with them to say, just what you've done in this group is a natural fit for being a coach. And I'd love for you to join my team, and I will train you how to build your business. And this is something you can do on the side part-time in addition to what you might already be doing. And you just ease them into the fold, but give them the confidence that they have what it takes. So great growth strategy there that I thought was really good. Let me just see, make sure I had everything, and then we can talk a bit. Got to share this. For any of you guys that like working out in gyms, I'm one of them. Like, I'm a gym guy, so I always follow the programs working out in the gym. This was from Judd Welt, okay? He made it a point to say, do not ever work out in a gym following a Beachbody program with your headphones on, because that's a clear indicator that don't talk to me, I'm in my zone, and leave me alone. Whereas when you don't have headphones on and you're doing some kind of innovative movement and it's obvious you're following some kind of plan, maybe you're looking at on demand on your phone, people will approach you, and you simply can get into, I'm following this great plan. But immediately what he does, he turns the conversation on them. He basically turns to them. So rather than just sharing, I'm doing this program and it does this for me and that, he turns it right away to say, yeah, I'm following this awesome program. I absolutely love it. What plan are you following? Like, that's the question. What plan are you following? You can have that. You can ask that question of anybody you come into contact with, in or out of a gym. When you're talking about fitness and nutrition, what plan are you following? Most people look at you like, what? I'm not following a plan. I'm just doing what I think I should be doing. Oh, you got to have a plan. I started following a plan about 2 years ago, and this is what it's done for me. And you share the dark spot you're in, what the plan's done for you, and why you're excited about it. Love to share more with you. And so when you want to get somebody going with a plan or demonstrate how a plan might work, rather than jumping to try to sell them a challenge pack, you might have some people that are ready to make that move, but ease them into the fold with something as simple as on demand. Like, free 30-day trial on demand. I'm going to show you some incredible plans that you can follow. You can pull the plans online. I'm going to give you a free 30-day trial. Let me sign you up. the on-demand, guys, is just a huge tool that I think is underutilized by a lot of us. It's free, and it connects them to you. Let's see. Challenge groups, we did that. Quick point from David Ingram. And this kind of just goes back to what I've talked about. Your success may impress, and this has been my biggest learning curve. I've always talked about how I successfully did this and that, and that might impress, but it's my challenges and struggles that get people attracted to you. It's talking about, it makes you relatable. It makes it relatable when you share the dark places you've been in the personal challenges and struggles you've had, not the successes you've had. So your success may impress, but your challenges and personal struggles are what makes you relatable. And that was a point that came from David Ingram. I thought that was really good. The more real and personal your story, the more you attract followers, because very few people like to put their baggage out there. It's just the reality of it. And social media gives you that opportunity. And it's not for everybody. It's definitely not. Okay, so I could spend hours with you, and unfortunately we don't have that kind of time. Let me just make sure I hit upon, I guess the last thing I would say is, when it comes to that point where you are going to talk to people about a challenge pack or a program or Shakeology, you've established the connective tissue, you've established rapport, you've established trust, you've provided help for free, you've done all these things we've talked about, and now it's time for them to actually want to purchase something from you. Don't talk so much about the features of the product versus the benefits of the product. Like, you can go into Shakeology and talk about how it has digestive enzymes and prebiotics and probiotics and adaptogens, and it's got 70 superfoods, and that's all well and good, but what is that going to do for me? Oh, you know what? By the end of month 1, you're going to lose an average of like 6 pounds by replacing 1 meal a day. You're going to lose 2 inches off your waist. You're going to, all of a sudden you're talking about benefits of what the product's going to do versus the actual features of the product. Does that make sense? It's letting them know what it's done for you personally. All I know about Shakeology is that it reduces my cravings, it improves my energy, it gives me mental clarity, and it tastes like dessert. And my health has never been better. That's what I love about it. That alone is enough to get somebody to go, Jesus, let me try it. I didn't need to get into the fact that it's got all these adaptogens and all this other crap. It's good to know that stuff and somebody wants to get technical on you, but don't lead or attract people to the product because of that. Talk about what it did for you personally in terms of the benefits, physically, mentally, so on and so forth. Okay? All right. Like I said, it was almost impossible to capture everything that came out of there, and I just wanted to convey stuff that I hoped would sink in with many of you, regardless of where you're at in your coach journey. If you're a new coach, Coach Basics, guys, is where it's at. Get to Emerald, get into Diamond Dash. On that note, just real quick, June 27th is the next 10-day Push to Emerald Coach Basics group, and that leads right to July 11th, which is the next Diamond Dash group. So you got a good segue of education happening there. And if you're saying, oh, it's summertime, people are relaxing, and then just park that bullshit, because that's what it is. Health and fitness doesn't go away. Everybody needs it at all times. If anything, coming out of 4th of July weekend, it's like, man, I feel like shit. I've just barbecued all week, and I need to clean up my act. Help me. So anyway, let's open it up. I mean, please jump in, share. Everybody's on mute right now, and I'd love to just hear some thoughts or anything you guys want to share in the way of challenges, struggles, things that are working for you, things that are not. Anything personally you might want to add, go for it. Go ahead and wave your hand. So, Deb, let me unmute. Hey, Deb.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So I think my advice, especially to the newer coaches, is, so Dawn is my I guess sort of technically not really, but he's my upline coach. And I remember when I first started, he was like, Deb, you got to do a program. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And I sat on it for, honestly, you guys, like a year. And when I finally was like, okay, Dawn, I'm going to do a program. He's like, great, what are you going to do? And I'm like, Les Mills Combat. He's like, Deb, no. He's like, you know too much about that. He's like, you got to pick something that's out of your element that you don't know about. And it took me a long time to get there. And when I finally did a program that was out of my comfort zone and I shared every single day of that journey on Twitter, on Facebook, that's when I really saw the opportunity of growing this business. And I had a real big struggle in the last like year and a half where I really seriously hurt my back and I couldn't work out and I couldn't teach. And I had to find another way to help myself, not only for my head, but also I didn't want my business to die. So that's when I tapped into, there's all sorts of other programs like the Ultimate Reset, which I did. And now I do the 3-day refresh like quarterly. And I actually put something up there when I did my last round that I said, okay, guys, for the month of June, I'm going to host a group every Monday. So if you want to jump on, so I have a new group starting this Monday.
Wow.
Just to say, if you haven't done the programs, you're not going to really understand and be able to speak to the benefits of them until you put yourself out there and show your results and share what you're, and the other thing is some of my challenges, they're really private. So like your suggestion of getting testimonials, like I've asked some of them for testimonials, you got to respect where they're at. If they don't publicly tag, that's why I say, okay, can I post it anonymously and just not name you?
Sure.
And so when I did, this person reached out to me and she was like, I knew that was about me, and that was really awesome. So she'll maybe eventually come around, but my suggestion is if you haven't already done a program, be brave, get out there, share it. I'm right now committing again to the 21-day fix. And I'm also teaching. So right now I'm doing 2-a-days, and it's a little wonky, but I'm going to do it because I want to grow my business, and it's a great opportunity. So if you haven't done it, hit it hard.
Awesome advice, Deb. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I felt the same way. It took me a long time to finally jump in and do a program because I was always working out and active. You know, it was spending my life teaching classes. And then I did one of these programs, and that's when I concluded, like, wow, this is as good as it gets for people in or out of a gym.
And that's where you can't, like you've always said, limit yourselves to the 4 walls of a gym.
That's correct.
Like I always say, I'm able to reach so many more people that could ever come to any of my classes.
That's right.
You're helping people, like especially utilizing your free leads. I have a customer in like North Dakota that like lives on a farm that he's like never going to get to a gym.
Right.
So really make sure that once you do hit Emerald, you reach out and establish relationships with those free leads because that's where your bread and butter is.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Yep. Who else had their, I know somebody had their hand up. Hey, Bon. Okay. Hold on. Go, Bon.
Hey, Don. So I just saw a message. I don't know if everyone saw it, but it was, I think, from Jeff Hill on the wall, maybe. But it was
2 rabbits.
Yes.
You go for it.
Yes.
Yeah, tell that. Yeah, explain it.
Chasing different, like if you chase 2 rabbits, you won't catch any.
Yep.
And that is so true because everyone's always doing something different. Like it's so difficult not to get caught up into comparing yourself to all these other coaches that you're constantly seeing on social media. And I mean, I'm a victim of it too, where, you know, I see one coach doing this and one coach doing that. I'm like, oh, I should do that, or I should do that. And when you do that, then it winds up taking your focus away from the basics.
That's correct.
Those things that you see all these coaches doing, like blogs and websites and, you know, all these other, you know, exciting and glamorous things, you can't do those things if you're not already doing the basics, because the basics is what's going to really grow your business. So you have to really put blinders on. That's the biggest piece of advice that I can give you.
It's great.
But it's so easy to get caught up in that and to think, oh, I must be doing something wrong because I'm not doing all these other things that they're doing. But especially when you're working full time, you know, you really don't have time to do everything. So you just have to really keep it simple. And just as long as you're, you know, you hear all the time the big C, consistency is the key to success. And that really is so true. As soon as you really become consistent with your 4 vital behaviors now, I still say 3, but 4 vital behaviors, if you're doing those consistently every single day, you're putting yourself out there and talking to at least 3 to 5 people a day, whether it be social media, in person, whatever, then it really will grow. And, you know, I'm one of the people that Donna was referring to as far as being consistent with Success Club. And sometimes I have no idea where I'm going to pull those Success Club points from each month. I mean, most of the time I don't. And it just happens because I've been consistent and because people come back to me who I have no clue that are even considering coming back and, you know, saying I'm ready now. I just had someone join this month who I've been working with for years. I mean, she hasn't done a thing. I just keep following up with her every few months. Are you ready yet? You know, just checking in. And she finally just joined this month with a challenge pack, and there was no way for me to have known that that was going to happen. So, you know, that's how I wind up being consistent, is just making sure I continue to stay consistent doing my vital behaviors. And then the seeds grow. They really do.
Without a doubt. And that consistency is so key. And if you're going, well, what are the 4 vital behaviors? You got to do Coach Basics. That's where you learn that.
Right.
But the thing about establishing, you know, 3 to 5 connections a day, that does not mean, and this point was also made very clear there, that does not mean that you have to establish 3 to 5 connections that revolve around beach body discussions. A connection is just touching base with somebody, saying, hey, I saw the picture of your dog at the beach the other day. Wow, it looks great. Hope the kids are doing well. How are things? That's a connection. That counts. That's 1. Next. All you're doing is just having conversations with people like they're your friends. You're just opening up dialogue. And I'm not saying be fake. No, it just means that you really have to be proactive in maintaining multiple relationships. You know, and they don't have to be like your best friends. It's just connecting with people, seeing something about them on Facebook that you congratulate them on, and saying, hey, how's it going, to maybe somebody you haven't connected with in a while. All of that just leads to dialogue and discussion and rapport building over time, that eventually when you want to invite them, there's a bit of connectivity already happening versus it being a cold invitation. So those contacts and connections are just absolutely critical. And that's where friends of friends become very important in social media, because you get to see, you know, go to their timelines and see things about them that maybe, hey, you know, I noticed that they're doing a class that I really like, or I noticed that they were at a particular beach that I've been to. And you just find that some kind of connective tissue that you share with them that you can chime in about. It has nothing to do with Beachbody. It's just establishing connection and relationships for future progress with your business. Lisa, great. Hey, Lisa.
Yeah. Hi, I was just going to speak to that. I mean, I feel like I've been Emerald for like a year, and I thought I would be Diamond a long time ago. So, you know, it's clear you're constantly learning, but I think just to speak to the connection and the relationship part, I know the times where I'm, you know, struggling or not being consistent, because I definitely have days and weeks that I'm not consistent, I'm not reaching out, and it's harder to get back into it.
I know.
And what I realized, it's harder to start caring again. I think when you're consistently having those connections with people, you actually will start to care.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't feel like so much of a task that you're doing, because
not awkward. It doesn't feel awkward.
Yeah. I mean, when you connect with someone and you're like, hey, how's it going? I saw this and that. I mean, that happened today, and I heard back from someone, and she just went through some challenges she's going through, and you know, some needs that she has, is like, wow, let's talk, you know. But I think knowing that even that is kind of part of your personal development, when you're connecting with people and getting more relational, it actually builds you as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, not just your business. But I know when I'm dropping off, when I'm not doing that, not connecting to people, I don't want to anymore.
I understand. That's what you can call a slump, and I think it happens to all of us. It's happened to me lately, and it's just like, oh man, you got to get back on the horse, and it's that getting started again. But the momentum comes back quickly, because all of a sudden you're in it again, and you're like, okay, now I'm rolling again, and it just feels right. Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. That's great. Yeah. Is there anything else, guys? No. Going once, going twice. So I hope it's been helpful. You know, it was challenging for me to get all this stuff together. As I was putting it together, I was like, oh my God, there's so much good stuff here, and how do I elaborate on all this stuff? And I really didn't get a chance to elaborate on a lot of it, but I just hope that some of these messages and some of these takeaways will help you and kind of help you frame out how you want to approach your business moving into the future. For those of you going to Summit, you're going to hear some great stuff, some very motivating stuff. And those of you that are not going to Summit will get a chance to hear recordings and a lot of this stuff. It'll all be on YouTube. You'll be able to access everything after the event. So again, thanks for being here, guys. And as always, I look forward to seeing a lot of you in the near future, hopefully at Summit, if not on some of our future training calls. But Coach Basics Push to Emerald starts June 27th. And then July 11th is the next Diamond Dash group, okay? So thanks a million. If you want to reach out to me personally and get on the phone about anything, go for it. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you, Don.
Thanks, guys. All right. All good. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.